What's going on, everybody? You found Bottom Tier Collector. I'm your host, the Bearded One. As always, thank you for liking, subscribing, and commenting on my content. It's always much appreciated. Most of this video is going to be a no-face video, so you guys listening in the car or whatever won't need to look at your screens. This is also something a little different. It's a little bit of news and rumors, and I usually don't do this sort of thing. However, with my favorite character being Lobo, I feel it is my duty as a super fan to report on this kind of news. Now, first off, we've all been hearing about the James Gunn taking over as creative for DC Films, co-chairing the running of DC Studios with Peter Safran. So that's going on, and we're hearing all kinds of news and rumors and speculation coming out, of DC and about DC. And some stuff has stricken close to my heart, and I feel like it would be appropriate to cover it, since again, I am a super fan of Lobo. Here I have the source of the information I'd like to cover from The Hollywood Reporter. Now, the title of the article, if you want to look it up for yourself, you want to find the Patty Jenkins Wonder Woman 3 not moving forward as DC movies hit turning point. This is the article you want to look for. Boris Kitt wrote it December 7th at 4:17 p.m. So this is pretty fresh information. I'm not going to be covering Patty Jenkins or Wonder Woman 3. I'm going to scroll down to something that's a little more important to me in this article. All right, I'm going to read these first two paragraphs verbatim, so I apologize for being a little boring, but I'm doing this so that you don't have to look at your screen. The first, which builds on the shuttering of Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3, is the closing curtain of the Snyderverse and the heroes cast by filmmaker Zack Snyder for his Justice League. This one sees the shutting down of Man of Steel 2, with a returning Henry Cavill and having no more Aquaman, fronted by Jason Momoa. These characters are to cameo in Flash, the highly anticipated time travel adventure movie that is due to release June 16th. Cavill shot his part of the cameo in September, but sources say there's a debate inside the studio as whether or not to keep the cameo, and if its inclusion promises something that the studio would have no plans on delivering. And here we are. I've skipped down several paragraphs into the meat and potatoes. What I really want to cover here, and that is Momoa, meanwhile, could emerge as a pivotal figure into the new plans, according to several sources. In one scenario, the actor could wrap up his days as underwater hero Arthur Curry in Lost City, with due out December 25th, 2023, which would be the final movie release that was made by the previous regime. But it would not spell the end of the actor's involvement with DC, with sources saying the actor would lead another movie or franchise. The character of Lobo, a foul-mouthed cigar-chomping intergalactic bounty hunter, has been mentioned in connection with Momoa. Whether or not Momoa does play everybody's favorite Bastich, Lobo emerging as a rising character early on in the conversation may point to the kinds of characters the Gunn-Safran team may be focusing on. The character is an outsider, an anti-hero, and is keeping in line with Gunn's speciality of making the offbeat and quirky and flipping it into crowd-pleasing fare. So here, this is mostly speculation, but it's pretty interesting that Momoa is again tossed around with the character of Lobo. I'd like to flip you guys to a video Momoa was in. He's in an interview with Cinema Blend, clearing up a cryptic message about dream projects with the Maestro. All right, so first off, you want to go to cinemablend.com and you want to find that Jason Momoa has a dream DC project, but Zack Snyder is not involved. Are Jason Momoa and Zack Snyder reteaming in the DCU? So if you'd like to find the article, just go to CinemaBlend and look up this article by Adam Holmes. This was published 29 days ago. Here is the video.
Out of here, Jason. On November 6th, you were blowing kisses to the Maestro on your Instagram story and getting DC fans all riled up.
Oh, those two have no relation. Those are two totally different. It was 2 days of amazing news. So no, that one is like beyond. That one trumps the DC one. That one's beyond.
they're separate and it trumps, and so the
It
Maestro
trumps
is
it.
not Zack Snyder?
No. You gotta dig. You have to dig deeper. It's like it's the Holy Grail. It's the Holy Grail, and it's different than the DC thing.
And it's different than the DC.
And I really can't say anything. That's it. This interview's over with.
All right.
Pull the plug. Pull the goddamn plug. Get Cinema Blend out of here.
Thank you so much.
Okay, guys, so obviously you watched the video or you heard the audio. Momoa clearing up the news that he's been teasing about 2 separate projects. One being with DC and one being with the Maestro, whoever this Holy Grail director is. I'm going to try and edit a reaction into this. If I can't hitch a reaction to the end of this video, I'm just going to leave it here, guys, as a matter of fact video, and I'll see you guys next time. So my reaction to all this news is pump the brakes. Let's just calm down, take a deep breath, especially any of you other Lobo fans out there. And let's just give it some time to breathe and culminate, and nothing's really been said as of yet. James Gunn did post a Lobo photo as his first photo on this new social media platform called Mastodon that still not a lot of people are familiar with, alongside a picture of Mr. Terrific. Are these things James Gunn wants to focus on? I mean, you wouldn't be naive to think the new director of DC Studios, the operations director of creative, posting pictures of Lobo and Mr. Terrific as his first couple of posts on a new social media platform are hints, are teases. James Gunn understands, his role right now. He understands how fans are perceiving him right now, and he understands how fans are potentially perceiving his social media interaction. It's no secret. We got YouTubers out here uncovering every nook and cranny, discussing every sentence, every tomato somebody cuts and puts on their sandwich, about the MCU. So James Gunn understands what the ramifications of his posts are going to be, and maybe he's playing into it. Maybe he's serious. Maybe he's just having some fun. I don't know. About the Momoa stuff, it's all speculation and rumor at this point. There's no fact. I think the only fact is that Aquaman 2 is more than likely going to be canceled, and Momoa has received news from DC executive. I think it's most safe to assume Momoa will be a part of James Gunn's vision of the DC universe going forward. That's really all we know so far. Those are the facts. Now my personal speculation is I agree with everybody. I think Jason Momoa is going to be cast as Lobo. It's just my opinion. Do I think it's a good thing or a bad thing? I'm a fan of Momoa. I'm not a super mark of Momoa. I still have yet to watch the Conan movies. That's something I need to get on. I really liked Aquaman. I really liked Momoa in the Justice League. I liked seeing him bounce off Ben Affleck. I think I liked the Momoa scenes in Justice League more than I like Aquaman, which is weird because Aquaman really fleshes out Aquaman, the character. Obviously, it's a whole film about him, but yeah, maybe I just like Aquaman on land and not in sea. I'm not sure. But personally, my feelings about all this, I like Momoa, but I don't know if he's the perfect... I don't know if he's the perfect choice for the actor, or for the character. I think when Lobo was at his peak, he was a flagship character of the company at one time in the 90s. He was selling as many books as Batman and Superman were in the 90s. He got a 64-issue ongoing series because he was selling like hotcakes. He was tossing around with the likes of Aquaman. Momoa has recently played, obviously. And in that era of Lobo's history, he's kind of what me and my friends have discussed as kind of a Beetlejuice personality type. He's really chaotic. He's unpredictable. He's violent. I've heard, and I think this is the most perfect way to label Lobo. I've heard somebody call Lobo a chaotic neutral. And I think that's perfect. Lobo is on nobody's side. He's on his side. Whatever it takes to make money. And the only virtuous thing about Lobo at all is if he gives you his word is bond. If he gives you his word, he's going to stick to it. But that's it. That's the only redeeming quality of Lobo. This is a character that murdered his entire race on the planet Zarnia during his... I think this was prior to the genocide of his race. But this is a character that performed surgery on himself, split his head open, and inserted a radio transmitter into his brain that is constantly playing the same music over and over and over. And at a certain point, the radio station got changed, or the music got changed, and he stopped what he was doing, flew over to the radio station, and held the radio player at gunpoint until he put the music back on. This is that kind of character. Over the top, very wild in nature. And this is not something I've ever seen from Momoa. I really think why Momoa is tied to Lobo is because of the way he looks. He looks like he could play Lobo. He's jacked. He's got long black... Well, I don't know if he's got black hair. But he's got long hair. He's got this tough, masculine vibe about him. There are qualities he has that would make him a choice for Lobo. But I don't know if it would make him the fit for Lobo, in my opinion. When I've recently gotten into Game of Thrones. I've been watching season 1 with my wife, and seeing Momoa play Khal Drogo. Yes, Khal Drogo is violent, but Khal Drogo is definitely a calculated, calm, thoughtful character. And there are iterations of Lobo that are like that, more calm, natured. I think of the Injustice series, the video game, and then the couple of issues he was in Injustice. But again, in the Injustice Annual, his first appearance in that Injustice world, he fights all over the city, or maybe all over the planet, with Harley Quinn, who's on like steroids. And then at the end, he realizes, I don't even want to fight the Justice League. I want to go fight someone bigger and badder than the Justice League. And he goes to Darkseid. He goes to Apocalypse and challenges Darkseid. I wish we'd got that battle fleshed out, but that's the last we saw of Lobo in the Injustice until Injustice 2. And I just don't see Momoa portraying a character like that that's willing to say, you guys aren't worth it to me. I want to go fight Darkseid. I don't know. It just feels like Momoa is more of a crime boss kind of personality than Lobo. And again, I think it all comes back to the look of Momoa and the fact that he's been in some very violent projects. The R-rated Conan movie and Game of Thrones. To close it out, would I hate it if Momoa is Lobo? Not at all. My personal choice, if we're speaking candidly, my personal choice for Lobo is Danny Trejo. Now, I know you're going to laugh, but if you've seen Machete, that is pretty much a Lobo movie, but with Hispanic and Latino culture inserted in it, and then it not being called Lobo. That is a Lobo movie. And I think Danny Trejo fits that. However, Danny Trejo is in his mid to late 60s, maybe even his early 70s. Trejo's definitely got, excuse me, some years on him. So I don't know. I don't really think DC wants Trejo to be Lobo, because Lobo's probably a character we're going to see around for several years. And they definitely want a younger actor. But again, perfect fit. I think the man that was born to play Lobo, that should have played Lobo 10 years ago, 20 years ago, was Danny Trejo. That's just my opinion, though. So I hope you like this video. Hope you like this reaction, all this news. I'm not getting into the news and speculation stuff. That's something I'm going to leave for other channels. But as a super fan, I feel it is incumbent upon me to spread awareness and talk about my favorite character. So look for it from the future. I may not post a video every time news comes of a Lobo movie or Lobo rumors in the DCU, but that is something I will be covering moving forward, is movie and news rumors pertaining to Lobo in the future. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. Again, thank you for the support. It's always appreciated. And until next time, guys.